Hey everybody, Althamir here. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for clicking on the video. Today we're going to be talking about the new class sets that are dropping with update 40. Um, just giving my initial impressions of them before the PTS drops tomorrow, where I get to test them just a little more. But I just wanted to take a look at them and just give my initial thoughts on what they do, what they are. All right, so let's just dive right into it. Okay, so we got the Basalt Blooded Warrior, which is the DK set. Uh, recovery, health, and damage. Let's see, we got casting and Earthen Heart ability grants you a Basalt Blooded Warrior buff for 20 seconds with a 20-second cooldown while on your front bar. Jesus, I can't read. You gain Molten Stance, granting you major heroism and minor heroism, granting 4 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. While you are on your back bar, you gain Obsidian Stance, increasing your healing done and damage shields by 14%. So, my initial thoughts with this one is, it really gives DK a bit of a buff, but at the same time, I mean, like this one here, I mean, shields aren't really big with DKs unless you're using the light armor shield. The obsidian shield isn't like too big. Increasing it by 14%. I mean, maybe if you really put some points into it with CP, with bashing and stuff like that, maybe, but I'm not too worried about this one. But this one, I'm more worried about like this year because the major and minor heroism kind of reminds me of 2014. Anyone still have nightmares of Dunmer vampire DKs? I mean, Jesus. So, I think it's a buff for DK, but we'll have to test it. I mean, is it better than other sets? In PvP it might be, but PvE no. It's definitely more of a PvP set. Because the 20-second cooldown, does that start after it ends? Because that would be a huge thing. Or is it like the cooldown starts, you know, after you cast the Earthen Heart ability, which means you can't stack it, you know? I don't know. The 20-second cooldown might be a bit of a bit like of a turn off, at least a little bit. All right, so next one. I'm gonna start grading these, I guess. So that one's, I'd probably say that one's. I'm gonna grade this on like a school, like they do in school, I guess, like college and stuff like that, like A through F. For some reason, there was an E. Um, I give this set an A, definitely. No plus and minus crap, just letters. Come on, too old to go pure school grading on this. All right, so Gardener of Seasons, healing done, recovery and damage, casting a green balance ability gives you Herald of Spring, causing your green balance overheals to apply minor heroism for 3 seconds. Casting 2 non-green balance class abilities within 2 seconds consumes Herald of Spring and gives you Harbinger of Fall for 10 seconds, causing your green balance overheals that's misspelled to create an 8-meter area for 5 seconds, applying minor maim to enemies and minor vitality to allies. Okay. You can create an area once every 5 seconds. Okay. So, I think Wardens already had. No, they don't. Okay. Thought they did. Um, I think it's pretty good. I think it's a pretty good set, but I don't think people will be using it for this part of it. Because let's say you have a DK also in your group and is wearing this, I would still, even if there's a DK that has this set that gives minor heroism. Or let's say there's another class that gives everybody minor heroism, not just the DK. I think that it's still worth wearing just because of this second part here, where you're applying minor maim and major maim to enemies and minor vitality to allies. That is actually pretty good. And like so far, out of the first two, this is also an A set. Definitely an A graded set. I mean, it leans into what wardens are really good at, which is healing. You know, just like the other one leans into what like a specialty for DKs, which is casting an ultimate. Gives you resources, and that allows DKs to have more resources because you can do ultimates more. This one allows overheals, which are going to happen with wardens, you know, to be beneficial, and that can really help out your group. All right, moving on to the next one, Monolith of Storms. This is Storms, obviously. Stork. Let's see, crit chance. Damage and damage. Dealing damage with a storm calling abilities. Initial hit. Oh, read the rest of the sentence, dumbass. With a storm calling's abilities initial hit, or every 5th tick, creates a monolith near the enemy for 10 seconds. Up to every second. Up to 1 every second. Okay. You may have up to 3 monoliths at a time. Monoliths link to other monoliths within 28 meters of each other, each dealing X shock damage every 2 seconds to enemies between and near them. An enemy can only take damage from this set once every 2 seconds. I think this is an interesting set, but what's interesting is the crit chance part of it. I mean, it looks to me that they're trying to really make like Lightning Flood a little bit more viable, because that's the only ability in Storm Calling, in the Storm Calling line, I can really think of. I mean, Mage Fury isn't a dot. I mean, but that would be the initial hit, I guess, but not every 5th tick, you know what I mean? So I think that's interesting. I really do. I'd have to really test this one a little bit to see how the monoliths look. Like, are they big? Are they, But I do think this set is very interesting. Where it tries to make Lightning Flood worth a slot, which is something that I was hoping that these sets would do, is make either skill lines, class skill lines rather, or just things that are weaker maybe be a little bit more worthwhile, or at least interesting. This one's definitely worth testing. I'd say right now, without testing, I'd probably say it's like a B or a C, definitely. Just because it needs testing, and I've never been a huge fan of Lightning Flood at all. Next up, we got, well, Decay's in the name, so this is Necromancer, obviously. This is worrisome. Health, healing taken, and health. Alright, casting a Bone Tyrant ability while in combat grants you Beautiful Corpse, minor protection, and minor resolve for 16 seconds. Okay. Reducing your damage taken by 5% and increasing your armor by about 3k. This can occur once every 20 seconds and is reduced by 2 seconds for each slotted Bone Tyrant ability. Casting a Corpse Consumer ability consumes Beautiful Corpse, treating you as a corpse. Huh. Yeah, this set doesn't really make sense to me. For one, I'd like to point out that I'm pretty sure, yeah, Necromancers already have minor protection. So that's really stupid. It's kind of pointless. they don't have minor resolve, but I mean, other other skills do that are pretty much required for PvP, at least lately. So that's it's not a class buff, but still, I mean, everyone uses it. Everybody can get that buff. I believe it's vigor that gives that. Yeah, resolving vigor gives that. So right here, just off of these two are completely useless. And what does this mean? I mean, does that mean that, when I cast tether, it tethers to myself? I'm tethering to myself, so like within a certain radius or something, I'm doing damage? It's not really explaining how long it lasts, or you know what I mean, like like a meteor radius or anything like that. I'm not really explaining it that way. I'm thinking because it's not explaining it that way, like it's not explaining damage, or it's not explaining like a meteor radius around you. That say like, because that would change tether, the damage and the healing one. And because it's not mentioning that, I think that I don't know. I think that it works as if, like Dead in Pain, when you absorb corpses, you get like ultimate. I think it just means you just absorb another corpse. That's all that means, I think. No, I have to give that one an F. This one doesn't make any sense to me. Because necromancers have this one. This one's in vigor that everyone uses in PvP anyway. And this requires too much. This is going to require testing. So I can't even speculate on what that means. It could mean tethers work differently now, but it also, I don't know. It requires testing. I'll definitely be testing this set first. Next up, we got Reawakened, whatever, as Arcanist. Okay, so Magica. Casting a non-ultimate curative rune form ability grants you an effect for 6 seconds to your affected allies based on how much crux you had. At 1 crux, allies gain a damage shield that absorbs X damage. At 2 crux, allies gain a minor heroism, which seems to be thrown around on all these sets. At 3 crux, allies gain major protection. What? What? Well, that's another useless set. Allies get damage shields from Shrakram, that healing Shrakram, and they also get it from the ultimate ability if you use the tank ultimate. If you use the morph that gives a damage shield, so there's already 2 abilities that give a damage shield, so not really worth casting this ability or using this ability at 1 crux, because you're probably casting Chakram, which gives you a damage shield already to allies. Okay, to again, minor heroism. That's on. I believe that's on. Yeah, that's on Runemet. These buffs don't stack, so this one's useless because Runemend already has minor heroism and major protection. Where we got? The Glyphic ultimate, which is the ultimate for the healing one, already gives major protection. I mean, I get this non-ultimate, whatever, but again, buffs don't stack. I mean, I get it. Like, I believe the major protection now, you only get major protection if it's at full health. At full health, the Glyphic grants major protection, and this would give it major protection just by casting, say, Runemend or Chakram, or just casting in curative rune form ability. But again, I give this an F. This isn't worth using. So far, the Necro and the Arcanist class sets are basically just decon. They're decon trash. I'll take it. You know, if it comes in jewelry, especially the way jewelry's going to be changing, make things easier, I'll take it. But I don't understand. Like with Necro, you have this buff, you have access to this buff with vigor. This is too blah. You know, this is too vague. You have, and with Arcanist, you have it already damage shield to allies with Chakram. You already have minor heroism with Rune Mend, and you already have major protection with Glyphic Ultimate. So what's the point of this set? Why does DK and Warden get things that they kind of need that enhance their class, that benefit them based on their playstyle, and Necro and Arcanist get taken behind the shed? You know, I don't, especially Necro. Like, come on, Necro's so hurting for something. Speaking as someone who is a Necro main still, like, you're killing me. So I hate those sets. But hey, decon trash, you guys. You know, yay. Next one, Soul Cleaver. Damage, max magicka and damage. While in combat and with at least 20 ultimate, strengthen your siphoning abilities at the cost of ultimate. Increase the damage and healing of siphon abilities by 17% of your current ultimate up to 200 from a minimum of 3% to a maximum of 34%. Reduce the cost of siphoning abilities by 15%. Casting a siphoning ability drains you of 1% of your current ultimate with a minimum of 1. I think it's an interesting set, but again, I think that this requires. I don't think it's gonna be worth slotting over any other set. We're testing, I guess. Definitely worth testing. I like the uniqueness though, where there, because with so many sets in the game, eventually you're gonna run out of really unique 5-piece bonuses. You're basically just gonna be rehashing other 5-piece bonuses or doing them differently. But I like that they started doing this. Oh, like, let's work ultimates where they're not just ultimates. You can use them as resources. It's interesting. I don't think it's anything. I wouldn't call it a meta set or anything like that. But I mean, I think it's interesting. Again, it'd be really worth testing to see how powerful it is, or is it blah? All right, and lastly, we got Templar here. Damage, crit chance. Again, this crit chance and damage. When you deal damage with Dawn's Wrath ability, you gain a stack of sunlight for 10 seconds once per attack. You can have 50 max 50 stacks max. Damn, and gain 12 magical recovery per stack. When at max stacks, your Dawn's Wrath ability deals 25% bonus damage, and a Wrathful Nova is cast on your enemy, but you cannot refresh sunlight. I kind of like that. I kind of like that because Templars need something, and Dawn's Wrath ability skill line is kind of a ranged. Templar is kind of hard, but I like this. I like this. I really do. I think it's really interesting. Especially being able to drop a Nova on someone. I mean, does that mean you can drop 2 Novas on somebody? That'd be cool. And it also has a defensive, support end to it, which, because it gives you more recovery too. I like that. I mean, it's unique, but it's still worth testing because of this. You cannot refresh sunlight. Okay, does that mean for the rest of the 10 seconds? Or does that mean, like, what does that mean? I'm assuming it means that you can't, let's say you build 50 stacks in like 5 seconds or something, I don't know. And then you burn, and then you do this, you cast a Nova. For the rest of that 10 seconds, you can't it doesn't stack anymore until that expires. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know. But that's interesting. I like this set. I think this set's a solid B to an A. Definitely. I'm disappointed in these two. They're useless. Completely useless. This one's unique. I like this one. This one's probably the most unique out of all of them. So this one's probably this one, I hate to say it, this one's probably my favorite. And then this one, then DK, and then this one. These two are just bleh, just bleh. They need to be redone. So, but anyway, that's it for this video, everybody. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like, my videos. You find yourself coming back to check my stuff. Really appreciate it. If you don't want to, that's perfectly fine too. Not gonna hold it against you. And I will see you in the next one.